already know what's going on. It's the fucking Happy Munkey podcast, and we here. You already know it's Ramon, the co-founder, creator, and you already know we got Vlad. And today, ladies and gentlemen, you know, and I'm glad Ed is here, right? Because this is the thing, right? The episodes that we've been doing with the legacy guys it was the beacon, right? I wanted those episodes to kind of shine out to the people out there, the guys who were outside, and
the history of this shit that's kind of like was being forgotten.
We want all you guys to kind of come out, and this was it right here, right? Because this was kind of like my thing, and this is what we got to do in the speakeasy era, right? Is introduce people to people that they probably didn't know, right? So this is always a pleasure of mine when we get to kind of introduce folks to. Maybe not someone who's new, but maybe someone who's new to you, right? And they've been in the game for a long time. And Jersey's in the building, ladies and gentlemen, today. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to let my Jersey people, you know, because Jersey folks was involved in the same history we was involved in. There was coming over here. There's Dominicans over there. Everybody was shaking and baking, baby. The tri-state was shaking and baking. We just happen to be in New York, which is the heart of New York cannabis in general. Just for me, because I'm biased, right? But today, ladies and gentlemen, we got someone who's the pinnacle of legacy to legal, right? Because this is what we talk about. We can talk legacy all day, which I love. We can talk history and trap shit all day.
What did you do with it, though?
What did you do with it?
Now,
right? So that, for me, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is bringing that aspect to the game. Because when we talk with me and Vlad, you know, we talk car talk, when we chilling, we talk. The game is legal now. Where you at? Where do you sit at? What are you doing?
Where you at?
So, ladies and gentlemen, from the trap to the trap's legal store now, you know what I mean? To the picks and shovels, right? Because we talk about all sorts of shit in the game, but people kind of forget there's other ways to enter this cannabis business, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the owner of the New Jersey trimmer store, because this is in New Jersey, our friend, you know, a homie recommended by the legacy folks, so we know he's legacy. I seen the articles. We go get deep. We go talk into all that. Our homie, your new homie, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Miguel Brito, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Yeah, man. Yo, thank you for coming, man. And
appreciate you having me, man.
And thank you to be willing to tell your story, right? Because this is kind of like one of our points. Like, yeah, we like to talk about our trap shit and all this other shit, but I love to hear and have people come out the shadows. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not in the shadows no more, but we kind of live that way. But you're not in the shadows. You're a CEO. You got your shit. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that, and let's introduce yourself, and let's let everybody know, you know, where your store's at and all this good stuff before we get crazy.
I mean, my name is Miguel. The trimmer store. We out of Fairfield, New Jersey. We specialize in trimming, processing, and everything that you need for harvesting. Basically, everything that somebody would need after they finish growing, from the trimmers to the sorters to the buckers to the press, we have it.
Let's go. Let's do it, man. So, I know before we get into details and all this other shit, I know Vlad got some highlights that he got to tell everybody.
1,000%. So, as y'all know, we coming soon to a theater near you. Right now, Dykeman is going through his final phases of build out, so we're coming soon. Stay on the lookout for that. Use the merch promo code LISTEN and get 20% off. Please keep sending us the art for the podcast, for, you know, the love that you have for us. We appreciate it. And keep hitting that hotline and dropping those drops and telling us how you feel and what you're doing with your cannabis lifestyle.
Word. Love it, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, man. So, before we get deep into everything and, you know, what you're doing now and shit, let's, you know, we like to take it back a little bit, and we like to start people off with something simple. We like to ask people, you know, give me your first experience getting high, man. G. Like, you know what I mean? Was it a blunt? Was it a joint? Was it in 1988 with your Timbs on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what you know, give me the whole story. What was the music? Was merengue in the background? ¿Qué es lo que está pasando? Tell me.
For me, it was probably 1998. The summer when DMX came out with the Stop,
Drop. Yeah. Shut them down. Open up shop.
That was real.
That summer, I'll never forget that summer.
Yeah, that summer was crazy.
In a Dutch, Haze. I was probably like in 8th grade, 8th grade around that time. And we didn't know nothing, you know. Got put on, somebody rolled it for us. and it was Haze. It was over from there.
It
started with Haze and it ended with Haze. It was always that.
I'll ask because I guess because I don't know if you was in Jersey, but for us is if most New Yorkers, if you didn't have somebody's apartment, you either did it in the building, in the rooftop, or in the basement of your building, in the back alleys or something. So how about in Jersey? What's the difference between Jersey? Is you did it in your mother's basement? Was it in the backyard?
You had to get low some way.
Somewhere you had to get low.
Nah, for me, in those days, I was still living in the Bronx. Yeah, I was still living in the Bronx. So for my journey starts in the Heights. My parents moved us then to the Bronx. Went to school there. Basically, half of my life is in the north side of the Bronx. Shout out to my Gun Hill family.
Oh, yeah, Gun Hill.
City crew.
Yeah.
And for us, it was Oval Park. For those that know, we went back to Oval Park, which is right off of Gun Hill Road. And that's really where it began. But in those days, it was just, for me, it was just trying it. I wasn't really involved in it. I was, I was
just
a kid.
as a
I was
consumer.
playing baseball.
We just smoking high.
Smoking.
Yeah, it was. I just tried it.
Like the rest of us.
Jersey came into play around 9/11. We moved to Jersey the summer of when 9/11 happened.
Wow.
So 01, the summer of 01, we moved to Jersey.
Haze was king already at that time.
Yeah. So at that time, I was a sophomore in high school. And it was an easy transition because I already had my roots from the Bronx, from the Heights, family in the Heights. So coming into Jersey and Patterson, it was easy to make friends and kind of connect the dots.
A lot of Dominicans in Patterson, right?
Oh, yeah. In those days, it wasn't. When I first moved there was a handful, but it was mainly a lot of Puerto Ricans, Italians, blacks, Jamaicans. There was a small group of Dominicans, but now it's predominantly Dominican. Probably
Crazy.
like 80%.
Crazy.
So things have changed.
So before we turned on the camera, we were talking, and Jordan, I guess correct me, catch me up if I'm wrong, right? Well, you guys were talking when ounces were $450,
$450.
right? So we talking you said
02,
2001, 02,
yeah, 02, 03.
All right, so
04,
now the ounces is at 450.
450.
Oh man,
Times is like a 0.5, 0.4
for sure.
gram, shit
At
like
those-
that.
Yeah, in those times, so my first start, I would get a bundle, which was 50 dimes, 0.5 dimes.
You coming uptown for that?
I'm coming uptown for that. Because it was easy for me. I always had the access. My cousins had blocks. My family was already in the mix. I had all my childhood friends from the city. So crossing the bridge and doing what I had to do was easy, right? And the way I started was 50 packs.
The dimes,
Open my tennis ball in high school, put my 10 little dimes, and walk around with my tennis ball. After school, I put it in the rim of the bike and rode around the blocks in my bike. And that's how I got my little
How much is the dimes going for in Jersey?
$10.
$10 too?
But you could get off a 0.3 dime in Jersey.
Ah,
There you
okay.
go.
So that's
yeah.
we graduated from the dimes to the 20s with the dime staple. We were able to do the 0.7 dub
Yeah, and
with
then,
the 0.3 dime.
right.
And it was a 20. So you got a 20 and a dime for $20. And that's how we got our first little break, right, in Jersey, getting our foot in the door. And obviously that elevated to serving ounces. In 2007, I ended up doing a bid in Jersey. It wasn't even bud related. I wish it would have been. I would have not did a bid, but I did a bid. Came home 2010. By the time I came home 2010, it's almost like I graduated from Jersey.
Right.
Because now I met dudes from Newark, Passaic.
I always tell
Jersey
people that's like the university.
It
That's
definitely
the
was.
university.
Where you get you come home with your diploma, and now you got to meet people from all over the place.
No, I went into junior, came out with a master's degree. I came home with a master's degree. So, no, I'm serious. By the time I came home, 2010, everybody was already steering towards the sour. I still had ties with a lot of the Cubans that was still growing real haze from Miami. All they did was haze. You know what I mean? So I was still getting haze from the Cubans, haze from my bros. And I was one of the few people that still kept the haze when people were straying away from it.
He's talking real haze, though, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I can attest. He brought a little something here in the box that we'll show y'all in a minute. But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So anybody that knows me, That's the first, people that haven't seen me for a while. That's the first question they ask me when they do see me. Yo, what's good with the Haze? You still got the Haze? Because that's what I held
That
on
became
to.
your MO.
That's what I held. That's what I held on to, and that's what worked for me, right? So by the time I came home, 2010, that access to these things was still there, and it was easy for me to now come to Patterson and just
Flood the hood.
everywhere. Came back, Dykeman, the Heights, the Bronx, everywhere where I knew somebody that was still somewhat
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
I tapped in with, and I was the only guy that still had that haze that some people still look for.
Now we know, we all Dominican. We know that, Dominican families are mad conservative when it comes to smoking weed. At the beginning, when you first started smoking and being involved, how your family looked at weed.
Oh, nah, I still remember to this day when I had to,
Fumando droga.
when I had to have that conversation with Pop Dukes, and he sat me down and he was like, "Mi hijo, ¿qué te está pasando?" And I
Like
was
that serious talk, like
he wasn't even
concerned.
mad.
Yeah, he was
wasn't even
concerned.
mad.
He was worried.
more
Perdido,
hurt.
mijo.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you having problems? Like, what's going on, man? You don't need that.
Right.
You don't need that in your life. Like, and my father, shout outs to my pops, man. Like, I had a beautiful upbringing because I had a real responsible father, man.
No,
Like,
that's dope.
he held it down, so he didn't deserve that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know
He
what
didn't
you mean.
deserve that. So at the time, that was a big deal to even have to have that conversation. You know, like I didn't let my father know I was smoking till I was a grown ass man. You know what I mean? Because out of respect, I just couldn't look at him in the eyes and
You
be.
take that shit serious.
Yeah, so
they take it serious.
it was definitely in the beginning, siempre with a Visine,
Yeah, holding it there.
open
Yeah,
fool, man, a
yeah.
different T-shirt, a switch over. It was definitely the whole,
Mm-hmm.
because we grow up respecting our family, respecting our
Yeah,
elders,
yeah,
our parents, our grandparents, and we still hold that, in the
No, that's why I
forefront.
mention it because now you even now you see that cannabis is like accepted everywhere in America a lot, but Dominicans are still like what I mean, they still wrapping their head around it.
Absolutely. The Dominicans is still like, bueno, mi hijo. They're like, yo, but I mean, even for me, like, we talk about this, all the time. Like my situation was like, my mom hated that we smoked for a long time and dealt with drugs and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Until she started actually seeing my business cards, with her coworkers and shit like that, coming to our parties and stuff like that. That's what kind of changed everything, right? Because things are going legit. She saw that it went legal. She's like, all right, my son is doing something. But it takes a while,
Yeah,
right? Look, it took
absolutely.
all of us forever
Absolutely.
until we became adults. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It feels good to have something my mom could say, with her head up high and say, this is what my son does, without worrying about somebody shaming or, because at one point it was definitely something that was down in my family.
Of
So,
course, man, they look down on you for it.
Yeah.
So how did you get into cultivation and growing in the legacy, legal, whatever part?
So after, I always told myself, right, that I was gonna do this up to a certain point. That I was gonna keep
You had an
getting
exit
work.
plan.
Right, like I couldn't
Something, yeah.
I couldn't keep flipping somebody's packs forever.
Right.
So when I got my money up, that I had a few dollars, that I had, now ability to invest, I approached everybody that I was getting work from and was like, listen, this is what I have to bring to the table. How can I get in? If there was no room for me to get in, I needed to move on. So I was chasing that. I was chasing that level up for myself, right? It wasn't anything towards anybody. It was something within me. Like, I felt like I reached a point that I did what I had to do. I obtained a
You
few
earned
things.
your stripes.
Right, I obtained a few things. I bought houses. I did a few, I completed my mission. So now I felt like it was time to take it to the next level. So one day, it's funny because I was in Mexico, bro, for my birthday. And I met somebody who had a grow in Colorado. And I always wanted to go to
Mexico, that's crazy.
and I always wanted to go out there, so I took that opportunity meeting him
Where you was at in Mexico?
in Cancun in the Hard Rock.
Cancun, in the Hard Rock.
So I was hanging out. I meet this guy. He's a grower in Colorado. I ended up going up there with my brother Ant, and that's how that began. That's how that opportunity.
What, Denver,
in
Springs,
Denver. In Denver. So that's how that opportunity presented itself, and I didn't hesitate to go full force, and it was during the pandemic. So when the opportunity came that I could learn how to grow, that somebody was willing to teach me A to Z, open book, and put me in a spot, I literally packed up a U-Haul and drove across the country with all my shit and went down to Denver, bro.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You ran with it.
So I just jumped out the window, bro, and I just left.
How was that experience?
A roller coaster. It was a roller coaster. It was full of highs and lows. That's the best.
Dominicans in Colorado.
Yeah, facts. And now they know who we are.
There you
That's
go.
a big
There
fact.
you go. Before we move forward, because I know Vlad is, Mr. Dominican Walter Cartcrack over here. He's gonna go hard. Can we show? 'Cause I know a lot of people smoke weed, but can we show what a half a P?
Oh, absolutely.
If you was going uptown, 1999, 2000, if you were lucky to be sold a half a P, this is what it would look like.
And you got to pay like 32, 34, 3,500 for it, too.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That was the numbers back
it
then.
ain't come in the sealer bags that we all
Nah,
get
what
now.
you
It
think.
came
Just like
in this
this.
half a pound and this shit right here, and it had to look like this, and the weed had to be up here or more. Fab, you heard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, this is when it came in. Just real quickly, I just wanted, because I like to show off Haze.
And I got the Haze holds a special spot in my heart because for me, this is where it starts. This is where my story starts. Right?
Changed the game for you.
This is where it starts, right? The first thing I ever smoked was Haze. The first dime bag I ever sold was Haze. The only pounds that I even got into when I was in that side of the game was Haze. So for me, Haze is everything. Haze is
The foundation of
Absolutely.
your whole cannabis
Absolutely.
career.
I remember when I first went to Colorado, that's one of the things I said proudly. I come from the home of the Haze. When I was educating
home of the
Because
people,
they don't grow Haze
No,
over there.
they don't know
Well,
anything.
now they do, but
and they know
back
nothing
then-
about Washington
and
Heights.
it's not that Haze.
No, it's not
Nah.
that. No.
So that was one of the things I was proud to bring to the table when I met people, when I came across people out there, is kind of introducing them not only to myself, but where I come from and who we are and what we bring to the table as far as what we are establishing in New York City. Because a lot of people think about Times Square. They don't know what New York City...
96 to Wall Street, that's what they think. That in the
Yeah.
Yankees.
Right. So
Yeah.
I was proud to be able to describe where I was from and what we do and the impact we have on this game. Right.
So what did you learn over there? What was what the culture shock that really, helped you, look at things differently over there from a growing perspective over there in Colorado?
I mean, it was night and day, bro. I went from being a city boy to a farmer. In a farm. In a 40-acre farm with chivos.
You got your 40 acres and a mule, baby.
Oh man,
I was in a farm. I was in a farm learning real, farmer terminologies. So I was in a farm, bro. Just like that. That's the best way I could describe it. I was in a farm.
So now it's like real horticulture shit. Like you're really learning
I was in a farm, bro.
how to live off the land type of shit.
For sure.
no going to
For sure.
7-Eleven if you need a quick Dutch or
was-
some bullshit. Is farm shit.
Farm shit, bro.
Oh man,
Farm shit. Chickens off the from the little rooster hen from the spot from where the chickens are. That's where you get your eggs.
crazy.
Yeah. So that was definitely a culture, shock for me. But I think my previous experiences, going to jail, being on the run, and all those situations where I found myself alone and having to figure it out and keep moving forward alone. Being in Colorado was just another one of those situations. So it wasn't that much of a transition for me to adapt to that. It was just a new environment, but it was the same type of figuring it out on your own.
Sink or swim.
Right. And I'm glad I went through that because it definitely taught me a lot. It definitely brought me back a stronger person and a more knowledgeable person, 100%.
So how we go from that to you getting into growing legally, the trimmer store and etc. How do you go from Colorado to that?
yeah. You could have picked a bunch of shit, right? You could have went into selling weed because Jersey's legal. You could have went into a bunch of shit. Why picks and shovels like we were talking about earlier, right?
Right.
And what is the trimmer store, right? Let's
Exactly.
Let's
It's
say
really
that, right?
interesting.
Yeah, right.
So the trimmer store specializes in processing and harvesting. So everything you do after you grow, from drying, curing, trimming, sorting, pressing, bucking, everything that is done, every process that is done after the plant is grown, we have equipment to assist with that. We lease them, we sell them. Aside from that, we're also doing consulting. So if somebody wants to do a full build out, if somebody needs SOPs for growing, we have a full team of growers that will set up an entire facility.
One-stop shop for
One-stop
growing.
shop.
I love this.
Shout out
Nigga,
to
them
my
little
boys,
Dominicanos
Advanced
getting
Cultivation.
busy. David, this ain't like they not trying to just sell weed and shit. They just getting busy, nigga.
Yeah. So like Ramon said, but why, coming from Colorado, did you feel like that was a good business and there was something there that wasn't being filled, the void, or whatever you felt?
So for me, I'm going to say I stumbled upon it because I found myself, so I was growing in Colorado, right? I got a license to grow my medicine. I got a medical card that I could grow my medicine in Colorado. I have a 40-acre farm with a facility that I grow my medicine. I found myself with the problem that most growers have, trimming all of that work. So I started researching different options, and I came across the trimmer store because it started in Colorado. So the founder of the trimmer store started in Denver, Colorado.
Amazing.
So found the store, went as a customer. I literally rented each machine that he had. Each one, from the biggest one to the smallest one, and I used them myself. From renting machines and being a customer, I built a relationship with, at that point, the founder, the owner. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Greg. We built a rapport. And I had the guts to one day say, yo, what's good, man? Let's open one in New York, bro. You know I'm from New York. Just like that, in that same accent. And in his accent, he was like, for sure, let's do it. Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Called your bluff.
Trying to call my bluff. Right?
Called your bluff.
So, you know, one day I came back on a trip from Colorado, and I was just thinking about it, and that's when everything was starting to get legal here. They were starting to, you know, the ballots are going up, and I was like, you know what, if there's a time, it's now.
It's now.
Went back to Colorado, rented a U-Haul, packed up all the equipment, signed agreements, spoke to lawyers, worked it out, and said, yo, we doing the trimmer store in New Jersey. So to answer your question, I came across the trimmer store by having a problem. I decided to be bold enough to ask the founder, like, what's up? Let's expand it. Let's take it to my hometown.
Because if you was having that problem, how many people in the hometown was having that problem?
Correct. So it stemmed from me having the problem. I didn't.
And it becomes tri-state because he's already interstate, right? You already go from fucking New York to Jersey. That's regular shit. So there's no cannabis being involved. That's just all machinery. You can serve all states.
And you could speak about it well because you use the product and you know how effective it is.
Absolutely.
Well, you come with a story. You just said it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So that's really how the trimmer store was born.
How long has it been since it opened up?
The trimmer store was established in 2011. So they started in Denver, and they had a location in Michigan, OKC.
Nationwide.
Yeah. So this would be the 5th location, New Jersey. And my grand opening was in February.
Okay.
So we just 7 months in.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
This is a good time because, like Ramon said, one of the biggest things that we preach since we got into this whole legal cannabis shit is that everybody thinks that you either got to be a grower or you got to be a dispensary owner. Like, meaning like you got to have a cultivation license or you got to have a retail license. But like you said earlier, like there's a lot of money in the picks and shovels and all these different services that the industry needs. And it's good to see somebody like you saw that opportunity because, like, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there because that's a big void that not many people are filling because everybody's just looking at it with one side.
Right, absolutely. I always tell people I'm just here to help people fix their problems. And most people are going to have that trimming problem.
All day. all day.
Trimming, curing.
All day. Like I was saying, back in the days, we was in a fucking room full of 15, 16 people, you know, all these viejitos in Florida, and we all hand trimming, you know, and that shit is taking like 2-3 days, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so
That's
imagine.
what it was for us too, man. Like I remember my first crop, we didn't get to finish trimming till like 2 months later. So I'm like, bro, it's getting bad on us. We need to be able to trim this faster. And we didn't have enough. I didn't have a team. You know, I'm not from Colorado, so it wasn't like I could have called all my boys, yo, let's help me do this. So I was forced to find a solution, and I came across this company. Like I said earlier, used the equipment, got cool with the owner, and was like, yo, bro, let's take this shit to New York, B.
That's crazy.
You here now? You here now? Man, you said, my nigga. You on the Happy Munkey podcast, baby. We the heart of New York cannabis, baby. So you right here in the heart. You in the middle, baby. We're in the middle. Oh man,
Light up to that.
Light up to that. That's what we here for, man. Yo, Ian Thonte, hey, how you feeling, man? Yeah, man? That's good. All right, man. That's how I like.
So
That's
you
what I
mentioned
like to see.
earlier, like I said, that you went to the university. Because you mentioned earlier, you know, that's what I call, you know, when you got to go away on vacation to prison, to university, and that you already had your network in Patterson and a little bit in the Heights, but that expanded everything for you. Because I always tell people, you know, now that's like you going away to an out-of-town university and you get to meet all kind of high-level people from your industry, and y'all got to live together for a while.
Absolutely. That definitely, I did a little bit from 07 to 2010, and that in those 3 years, I came home with a connect and a whole roster of different customers from different cities, right? Because I met people from different parts of Jersey that normally I would have never came across. So that definitely expanded everything.
That's what it is. It's
And
like
it
the
kinda
university.
yeah, it definitely solidified things for sure. Because then when you come home, right, and for me, I pride myself on being the same person anywhere I am. You know, what you see is what you get, and I continue to be the same person consistently. So it helps when you're one way in a situation where you're in jail, let's say a place like prison where anybody could be whoever they want, right? And then people see you outside and you're the same person you are in the inside. That kind of solidifies and stamps it a little bit more.
Of course, because the people from outside see that you stood up and you did what you had to do, and the people in there see like, oh, he really was about what he said he was when he was in there. So I get exactly what
definitely humbly, for sure.
So now, you know, fast forward, you know, 2024, cannabis is legal in Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey. What do you think? Did you think you would ever see this when you started in, you know, smoking in 1998? Like, what is your view of everything that's happening and where the market is right now here in the tri-state area?
I mean,
Northeast, the Beast Coast.
I think
Let me fit everything in.
how fast it's happening is the biggest surprise, right? I didn't expect it. I always felt like it would happen ever since, you know, they opened up legally, medically in LA, in California years ago. I always felt like that would eventually trickle down, but I didn't expect it to happen so fast.
In the New York Minute? Come
Yeah,
on,
New York
brother,
Minute.
You know how it goes.
For real. Like I really didn't see that one coming. Especially how it was just 2 months ago, with all the different smoke shops and everything. Like I didn't expect to see the city like that. But it's a good thing because it's opening up the platform for people like me and you, and it's just gonna keep growing, right? So to say that I saw it or thought that it would be the way it is today, no, it's hard to say that.
So what do you know, you haven't been well traveled, Colorado, West Coast, Jersey, you know, you've been around the block a few times. Now that you see that it's here and it's happening like that, where do you see it going now? Let's say, you know, 4 or 5 years from now, where do you think it can get to, like as far as like the legal market? This is just the beginning. You know what I mean? It's only been a couple of years here, a couple of years there.
I think it's gonna get scarier for people that are not kind of sharpening their skills, because New York, New Jersey, you know, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, they're major targets to all those major players.
It's the Mecca.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're coming.
They're coming hard. So
But they coming.
you know, it's gonna be real commercial real soon. So I just feel like, you know, it's gonna be scary for a lot of the underdogs that are trying to get their self in the door. that door is starting to close up more and more. So I think that's probably one of the downsides of all the legalization. It's just attracting all these big sharks and not leaving any room for any of the regular guys to be able to have a part in it.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
But you got to understand that every time somebody like you steps up and, and shows people like what's possible, you used to be outside, you did everything from a block to a pound to whatever to now you are capitalizing off of this opportunity. It shows, because I think like me and Ramon always says, people are like fearful because they think that the skills that we learned in the streets and the legacy don't apply to this, and every time they see somebody like you like make the transition, it shows more people what's possible, especially like there's very few Latinos that are really entering the legal space. So I'm really honored and happy that you are, because it's like there's like it's already a few minorities, but there's even fewer Latinos, surprisingly, that are entering the legal market.
Right. No, definitely, man. And it's just, like I said, I'm proud to be a part of it, and it's an honor to be in your platform. And like I said, if there's anything that I could advise people that are watching or people that are thinking about what lane to get into or how to get into it, I think it's just kind of like do your homework, do your research, right? Do your studying, and make yourself the hardest working guy in the room. So when those opportunities present themselves, you're an asset. People need you the same way you need them. Because I don't think people are giving out handouts, and nobody's just going to put you on. So if anybody wants to be relevant in this game in any fashion, I think the thing to focus on is being the hardest working guy in the room.
Show up.
It's funny that for some reason, like, me and Ramon talk about this, like, it was like that in the streets too. Like, you couldn't come outside. You just broke down the whole process of moving up the chain in the legacy market. How you had to go from 50 dimes to the ounces to the pounds, and you had to put that work in. You had to be the hardest working person in the room. So for some reason, people think, like, with this legal thing, like, it's not going to be that same type of work, and you're not going to have to earn your stripes, and you're not going to have to put in all this work. And because nobody came outside and got 100-pack out the gate. You had to work up to that. Mm-hmm. So why would you think you're going to come to the legal market and you're just going to, like, just going to be like,
right.
You're going to be swimming in money overnight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit don't make no sense. Well, guys, y'all know in New York, they about to allow home grow, right? And you just said you just came from, Colorado, and you got some growing tips, right?
Absolutely.
So in New York, we're, especially in the city, right? I don't want to talk about the state because there's some growers in the state now, and even in the city, there's very small circle, but very small circle in the city, right? Now it's a little bit more of a thing, but there's more smokers than anything in the city, right? And there's not a lot of growers. What would you give, like, these first time growers, like, yo, I want to grow something in my house, a little something now that I can grow 6 plants. I probably just want to grow 1 or something, right? What do you give this person? Like, give them some sort of advice that they probably wouldn't know. Yeah, some sort of
starter pack. I would say start small, and if there's anything you need to learn first, is patience. Right? Before you even learn to grow, you
don't got a lot of that, man. But
so that, anybody that wants to get into the growing side of it, I think that's the first thing you need to learn is patience, because it's a crop, it's a plant, and there's a lot of different variables. There's a lot of different things that could go right or wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say start small and expect the trials and tribulations, because that's really the only way to master it and learn it is hands-on. A lot of books contradict each other, so you might get mixed information out there. So I think the best method is learn the basics, start small, and do a lot of hands-on, because that's how you'll learn the different genetics, the different things that can happen, how to acclimate the room, how to feed what properly, because there's different ways of feeding, there's different types of nutrients. Every lane gets complicated, right? Like, there's different types of lights, and you might talk to 3 growers, and this grower likes HPSs, this one likes LEDs, and this one likes both. And they'll give
none of them are wrong.
And they'll give you 3 different opinions, right? And they're speaking based on their personal experience, what was good for them, what worked for them. So I think you have to find what works for you, which is also going to depend on your schedule, your environment, your space, where. So there's a lot of things that go into it. So going back to answer your question, anybody going into this wants to start off in their house, in their garage, in their basement, start off small, gain patience, and gather all the information you can. Online, it's public, it's out there. There's so much information out there right now that it's like anybody could grow. Anybody could grow. You don't have to wait for somebody to teach you or put you on. You could just Google it and you'll find everything you need to know. It's all
Google's
available.
your friend, baby. And then
It's
my man
all
just gave you a
available.
free consulting class, you know what I mean? For free, real quick, put you on some free game.
And if you need the equipment, we got a hydro store
There
next
you
to the
go.
trimmer store. Shout out
There
to
you go.
77 Hydro.
That was
There
gonna be
you
my
go.
next question. So you seem to pride yourself on, like, you know, you're the one-stop shop. You know, you're great at customer service at the trimmer store. Can you give us an example, like at a client that came that has some issues that you and your organization help, you know, give them, you know, what they needed to fix it, whether it be the product, the advice, the machines.
Absolutely.
My man came back from a job interview or something, right? Oh shit! What happened? Oh.
No, it's funny you asked me that. I just had that situation in Massachusetts with Advanced Cultivators. They had so much product that they had a client that made a big order, and they had so much product that they needed to sort out, right? They needed to figure out what was the grade A buds and what was going in the pre-rolls, and they needed a machine to do that. And I was able to drive up to Mass, give them a free demo of a sorter, leave it there, made a deal with them, and now they were able to fulfill that order. So
Crazy.
now we have a relationship where we are also collaborating and offering full-scale consulting and build-out, and we go back and forth with helping each other.
So basically, you not only solved their problem, but they almost made a bunch of money because you came through and you did that
Absolutely.
effort.
Well, we definitely been helping each other out on different levels, and those guys are doing great things out in Mass. So shout out to them at Advanced Cultivators. But yeah, that was one situation where, you know, a machine came through, for sure.
That's
They
why
would've
it's
get the
like,
job done.
you know, you know, only a fool knows it all. This shit is so complicated. This shit changes so much. There's so much new information and technology coming out. You gotta stay on your job.
Facts.
All right. You know, my man Curly Fries, you got something for us today or what?
I want to hear about Munchies.
Oh, okay. What's I guess Sunday night, the girls chilling in the crib, just finished smoking some fire, some shit that, you know, la grasa brung him or some shit. Yo, boom, yo, taste this shit. Let me know what you think about this later. Una vaina, bang. And you get up, you go to the kitchen, you open the fridge, and the fridge gives you this like unlimited access to all the munchies in the world. What are you getting?
Tamarindo juice for sure.
I like that.
For sure.
De lo mío for real.
Un jugo de tamarindo. And probably, yo, bro, Dominican Munchies, bro. Queso hell, you know, the
Yeah.
white cheese that
Yes.
comes in the little bag with the crackers, with a little bit of guayaba. Dominican Munchies, bro.
Now I got another question
like
because
that.
you know we always be traveling and shit like that. If I'm in Jersey or somebody's going to Jersey around right there in North Jersey first time, what's the go-to spot? Like, you know, you got the munchies to sit down and eat, whatever that is.
There's a lot of good spots, bro.
Oh.
There's a lot of good spots. Bonfire is a good spot.
Bonfire. I
Bonfire's
heard of
a
that
good
before.
spot. There's a lot of them, bro. You got Noche de Colombia.
Noche de
Okay.
Colombia.
You got Mama Juana's, which is the same one they got in Dykeman. But I would definitely go to Bonfire for sure. That's
Bonfire.
definitely like the staple. El Carbon is another one.
There
for
you
sure.
go.
All right,
Food
Bonfire,
is
make sure you send these people
Send
some
the-
lunch.
Send the wire.
Something, you know, the trimmer store, get the address, you know what I
They
mean?
family.
Send them some lunch, B.
Speaking of Dominican food, what you think, like, you being Dominican, growing up in the culture has influenced your journey, you know, everything you've been through, support for your business? How you think that's helped you or hurt you or whatever it is?
Being Dominican,
Yeah.
I think that definitely implemented the structure and the ethic, right? The work ethic, the getting up when you're tired and getting it done, because that's what I saw my father doing. There was never an excuse. It was just you got to go and get it done. So that was definitely something that's implemented, and doing the right thing, right? Walking straight, being a man of your word, having character, having morals, caminando con respeto, how they say it. So I think being Dominican and always hearing those stories of the older G's, I'm talking about the guys that have stories in the 30s, my uncles and the guys that walked around con un puñal, right? So just their word was bond, and everything they projected is very masculine and very, you got to hold yourself to a certain standard no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, whether it's a positive place or a negative place. You have to be able to hold your head high, and the only way to do that is by being a man of your word. So I think that came with the culture. You know, I definitely give shout outs to my culture.
Nah,
Shit,
of course,
shout out
man.
to Pops, man, holding them down.
Facts. Mom Dukes gave me the hustle. Pop Dukes gave me the structure for sure.
Oh man,
I know you all about the Haze. Is there any other, since, you know, because now we got like 1,000
Shit,
different
now we got
flavors and
menus, baby.
strains that now,
future.
aside from the Haze, that, like, you know, you feeling that you feel like, you know what I mean, that, you know, you like.
For smoking, I'm definitely, because I have a high tolerance, I like the gassy stuff. I like something with a kick. You know, something, the closest it could get to that old school sour that doesn't exist no more.
You're saying that old school New York City sour, these that fill 2 of those bags with half a pound, like that shit
bro,
ain't around.
they don't exist, my brother. That you come in.
What do you think happened there?
I don't know.
Got watered down the strain.
I mean, now that I've learned a little bit from being a grower, right? Certain strains yield different, right? So I heard that sour, I never got to grow sour, but I heard that sour was one of those strains that yielded less than half of, let's say, what a Haze would yield. So from a grower's perspective, no vale la pena, it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
You know, a room that's supposed to give you 10 pounds gave you 2. It's fire.
But that's a big hit.
So that's, if you ask me why growers stopped growing sour or let it go, I think that would be one of the main reasons. It probably didn't give numbers, right? You know, a lot of people switched over to the hybrid strains and a lot of the candy strains that you see today because of the quick turnaround. You know, you're able to
That part.
You're able to flip those strains a lot faster.
Candies, boy.
Yeah, it's all about the turnaround, right? And especially now that the numbers are so low, anybody on the grower end, the expenses don't change. If anything, equipment is more expensive. You know, the rent for a facility is more expensive. The light bill is more expensive. So that part went up. You know, the price of a unit went down. So people are finding ways to make it make sense. So if you look at it on a yearly basis, a candy strain will give you 5 crops in a year. A Haze will probably give you 3. So
That's a big difference.
that's a huge difference depending on the size of the facility.
Then in your
So
pocket.
that's why a lot of, you know, I think that's why you see more
And niggas,
and more of these.
I ain't mad at the candy. Niggas is growing fire candy out here, because if you're a good grower, you're a good grower, bro. You
Right.
growing the good fire, bro. I'm not mad at the I'm not mad at the menu. Let me tell you, as a consumer in this life, I'm not mad at going to any, whether it's a spot, whatever, anybody. Motherfuckers got a menu. I ain't mad at that. Before, it was just, nigga, whatever you know, you're gonna deal.
You get what you get.
You get what you get.
It's like new music, bro.
Get what you get, and you don't get upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You know what I mean?
Candy, I look at it like the new hip hop. It's like the new music, you know. And some
That's
of them
it.
artists are nice. Some of them, you know,
Yeah, some
we
of them
still
are
appreciate
good.
some of the classic dudes, but
Some of them got a lot of packaging, you know what I mean? A lot of
some-
marketing.
Yeah, some of, you know, there's artists in the new age that are fire.
Hey, we love it, bro. You know, we love the
So-
Travis Scotts and the Kendricks of the world and all this. You know, we love the, you know, the newer guys and all that other shit, man. But we don't love all of them. But you know,
Nah, but that makes sense about like why those old school strains got diluted. You know what I mean? Because it's just like we're always talking about it. Everybody's like, damn, but it's not like it was, and that's why. Because to maintain like mothers and babies for 20, 30 years, like you said, like this shit don't make no sense.
Right. So it becomes a numbers game.
yeah, it's
Trying
very
to get
rare. It's very
the
rare.
most yields as fast as they can and sell it as quick as they can. So everybody's just trying to dump. Nobody's really, sitting there stirring pots, como quien dice, trying to get that perfect recipe. It's a numbers game.
Ain't nobody hand trimming no more.
Nah, and if they are, they're gonna transition real soon.
Real soon.
The more they grow, the more they're gonna need.
Absolutely, man.
So what do you think the biggest difference has been? Like you went and you lived your little farmer experience in Colorado, and you got to see the culture out there in the West Coast. So like now that, like I said, the Northeast is legal, like cultural cannabis differences. What did you see, like from what people like, the way people are, the way people smoke when it comes to cannabis from the West Coast to the East Coast, like whole Colorado to being back here now?
It's funny because when I initially went over there, I was expecting it to be weed heaven. You know what I mean? I expected to see weed everywhere, and that everybody smoked. I smoked more than everybody I met. Everybody I met, I smoked way more than everybody I met. So nobody, surprisingly, the people that I got to meet and what I was around, I was surprised to see that not everybody was so big on the weed as I assumed it was gonna be. You know what I mean? And I didn't even meet a lot of like backdoor growers. It was anybody that was into it legally. And on a smaller scale from what I saw, right? It's not like how it is in other places where you go and it's just everywhere. I felt like Colorado was a little conservative. You know what I mean? And people are not, it's not like you walk how it is in New York. Everywhere you walk, you smell the bud. In Colorado, you don't see that. I didn't see that.
Were you the only brown one in the class?
I was definitely the only Dominican. For sure. I was proud to say it too.
That's
For
funny.
sure. I was definitely the only Dominican.
Did you have somebody send you plátanos from back home? Like, yo, fuck it, man. Send me some plátanos so I could cook here or something.
You're not gonna believe it. 100%. Yo, bro, man. I had mommy sending me cajas. Yo.
Oh my God, the whole school like, yo, let's see what this guy's doing over here. What's going on?
I had mommy prepping cajas with the cheese, the salami, the bacalao, everything. Yo, bro.
Yes.
I couldn't find that nowhere.
Where? You impossible, bro.
Nowhere.
Yo, that's funny. He was cooking for the whole class. You heard? The whole class was like, oh my God, right? Like, what the fuck?
That's
Bringing the
fact.
super dish to school.
That's a big fact. Yo, mommy, what you made for Thanksgiving? Send that next day.
Oh,
Get here
man.
next
So
day.
there wasn't a bunch of Dominican and Colombian and Puerto Rican restaurants out there?
Nah, where I was at.
Not in the farms, B. He got to go get the eggs from the barnyard over there, bro.
No, and then I got to experience a little bit of the city, like the outskirts of the city, right? Later on, like I stood there for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So I would say the first year and some change, I was in the farm. And then the second half, I moved to a nice little like apartment complex that was 20 minutes from the city. So I would go downtown and go to the little local spots, to see how it is. Yep. But, I definitely didn't come across any Dominican spots.
Nah.
I didn't meet another Dominican. Nah. It was Cubans. There's Cubans out there.
There's
a big Cuban community out there. I met some Colombians, but no Dominicans, bro. None. And if you're out there,
I'm surprised you ain't bump into one of those Cubans that's growing haze a lot. Some of them ran to Colorado.
They did,
yeah.
And I did. I met them at the grow stores, but
it goes down in the boulevard. See, I know.
I would meet them. I would bump into them in the grow stores and hear their accent, and I would throw them mine so they know where I was from, because they already know. Once they put 2 and 2 together, it's a Dominican from New York and I'm a Cuban from Miami. It's the perfect recipe.
That's it.
So when I would hear their accent that they looking for products and they talking to each other,
you like, there he go, yeah.
Yo, dímelo, mi hermano, ¿en qué tú buscas? And we get into conversations, but all of them was into the exotics, and that they would tell me the same thing, that they transitioned because of the turnaround. Yeah. You know what I mean? They went into strains that you could process a lot faster. Back in the days, people had to veg a plant for over 2 months. Now dudes are vegging a plant for 2 or 3 weeks.
That's crazy.
That's a big difference.
That's a
super
big difference.
So they're chopping months out of each, and their turnaround is almost double at what it used to be. So dudes are getting into crop steering. That never existed 15 years ago. Nobody knew what that word was, bro. You know what I mean? So
You just taught a bunch of people that word. We taught me, you taught everybody that word. Crop steering.
Crop
like,
steering.
I'm gonna steer
So-
this shit.
Break that down. Break down crop steering.
I mean, I'm still learning that myself, right? And from what I'm understanding is gathering data to have to maximize the control in every aspect. You gotta control what they call your dry back. So how much water you getting into the pot at what time, and how much, you know what I mean? And each plant drinks differently. You might have a strain that absorbs more water, that drinks more nutrients than the other. So you have to learn that strain. And the only way to do it is with machinery that collects data. Same thing with your environment. You need equipment that lets
Is he
you
lying?
know.
Is he lying? Right, we got other growers in the room. Is he talking shit? That's what I'm saying, right? Like I'm just
You
saying,
do
like we in camera and all that, but there's other growers in the room. If he's lying, you know.
The basically the more information you could collect, right? That's how you get into crop steering, because now you have control. It's literally like you the one in control. You're telling it what to do. You're feeding it when you're saying it needs to be fed, because you figured out when is the most, at what hour that plant eats the most. So that's when I'm gonna feed it. You know, you might have a plant that you see like, yo, after the lights go off, that's when this one dries up a lot. So that one likes to eat at this time. So you might change your settings to feed it this much at this time. You know, same thing goes with the environment. Now you learn how to control the humidity levels, the CO2 level, the air conditioner, so the actual temperatures. And having equipment that you can literally control from your phone, monitor and control, which means not only see what's happening, but also change what's happening from your phone.
Wow, we live in the future.
Shit sounds, David, like we head into Grow GPT soon. And, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, man. Yo, we coined that. Yo, don't take that. Don't take that. That's us. That's Happy Munkey right there. You heard?
Come see us at the trimmer store.
You know what I'm saying?
Sit
But
down.
that's what it's heading to, right? Like the technology and the
Yeah.
advancements, like it's
Right.
going to
TBD,
like,
God.
Right, so it's
Crazy.
literally having something to test the soil, test the dry, like the water that drips from the bottom of the pot. You gotta test that so you can see what that runoff is giving off. What's the particles, or what do they call it? Like the ppms or the EC, right? Of the runoff.
it's crazy. This just sounds like
So-
fucking like you gotta
Listen.
go to school.
Yeah, nah.
This
so
is
now
great
we have a
because
team.
all the growers that we know are gonna comment on this, and we love that shit. Listen, it is what it is, and I'm gonna holler at y'all.
And I don't know it all, bro. I'm still a student.
Yeah,
to
we
this,
just
so
that's the whole point. Is
you know,
that yeah, we're
I'm
all
still a student
that
to
we're
this.
having the discussion.
Nah, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's good to know like where it started at and where it's at now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
We
you
live
know,
in
shit
the
shit is like the
future.
Jetsons
Yeah, absolutely.
growing now. Like you said, compared to the Cubans that was growing in their garage in Miami, it's that different ball game now.
Going, my brother, the
Absolutely.
Transformers. How one Transformer
Different
in 2000 in 2004, one Transformer. Hey, how much is that? How much does that weigh? One. The Transformer
No, the
from back
white
then.
Transformers.
The old school, the 100-pound joints. Come on, my brother. That's what we,
You
know,
have to
shit like
take
that.
20 of those up to an apartment in the
Come
building.
on, my brother. That's what was. So now you talking to me about? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? We living in the future.
As far as crop steering, there's vegetative and generative. So when it's vegetative, that means that the plant is just gonna want to grow. You know, it's gonna try to grow tall, grow branches. And generative, you want to use that steering more when you're into flowering, which you're basically telling the plant you're going into production now. You feel me? You're gonna focus all your energy on producing, you know, your flower. She's pregnant, so you want to make sure that her food is at a certain EC, certain ppm. So back to the crop steering, man. The science, yo.
Yeah.
Estamos en el futuro, que estamos.
You gotta,
We living
you know,
in the
you
future,
basically,
ladies and
you gotta
gentlemen.
gather that information
It's crazy.
and the tools to
And you
gather
could
that.
do it from your phone.
Expensive.
That's the most important part to me, right? You could just do it from the phone.
When it's mixing up the nutrients, if one pours more than the other and it detects it, it shoots the water right out, and then we'll feed the plant and they'll start mixing it again.
It look like some shit is like a sci-fi movie
Yeah,
growing
this
now.
shit-
It's
this
just
shit
a different
crazy,
ball
man.
game now.
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
dosatron, you said each spigot into like one nutrient, ya automáticamente is gonna basically makes your nutrients automatic for you. So ya esa planta está en a 24/7 buffet.
Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop.
Crazy.
That's all I need right there. David, what else? What else you got
for
for
the
us?
people and for
What-
the people that want to get into that have no idea of what type of equipment we're talking about, how to set it up, how to build it up, come down to the trimmer store.
Oh, there you go. Have
Go.
a
A to C.
Come sit
Yeah,
down. with us at the-
go do your job, right?
Yeah.
Go show up. You know what I'm saying?
And like they have the opportunity now to not start from like the basics, rudimentary shit there. Like I said, the garage, the basement, the generator, to go there and start where shit is now, and
Absolutely.
not have to go through all those trials and tribulations that the people in the garage had to go through.
Right.
Now it's plug and play.
Now it's plug and play. I like that. Now it's just plug and play. Word up. What you got for us, David? What else you got for us here? Or did we miss anything? Right, we got everything. Right, most of the stuff. All right.
Most of the stuff, maybe talk about Dykeman, just you guys opening up.
Yeah, no, like he knows about Dykeman. He's been around the block. What do you think? I think what he's asking is like, us opening the first legal dispensary up there. They open all over the city, like you said, between 96 and Wall Street. Nearest one north is like 125th.
Shout out to Gotham.
Shout out to Gotham Buds. But what do you think, like in your opinion, especially knowing everything about the tri-state area, everything, like what it means to open up the first legal one in Dykeman?
I mean, I think that's major, bro. That's, if you ask me to describe that in one word, it's gonna be legendary, bro. That's really putting the flag in this whole industry and saying we here. So I think that's something that's gonna live on for years, right? Everybody's gonna remember Happy Munkey did it first. Happy Munkey was the first guys to really put Dominicans and Latinos in this side of the map on. So I think the best way to describe that is legendary, bro. That's
Thank you for that, my brother. I wanted to ask you, so aside from Ed, what was the first time like you ever heard of Happy Munkey, you had an interaction with us or whatever?
was online, just through social media, seeing the podcast, watching some of the guys that came on here. I had heard of them from the neighborhood, and I would watch the show, watch the interviews and stuff. So just really online through social media. My brother Ed put me on, so.
See, David, somebody watching this.
Yeah.
Somebody's watching this. Somebody's
Absolutely,
watching this,
bro.
David.
I always
Somebody.
support people from my side of town and from the same roots. I think that's it's an honor, bro, to be here for real.
It's an honor to have you here because, like I said, you just like broke down a lot of stuff that like I learned a lot right now doing this episode.
Absolutely, I love it.
There's so many people out there that like want to get into these things but don't know where to start, and to know that there's somebody like you that is like the one-stop shop when it comes to cultivation is really good. And people think about that like that's like a whole different coast or to go different state thing, but like no, this is happening right now, right here in real time.
Absolutely, and this is only the beginning. I mean, we plan on taking it as far as it could go.
So give me your vision for the trim store. I know you just opened in February. Let's say a year from now, 2 years from now. Like, what do you think? Like, what are your goals, your visions for the store, for the business, etc.
Well, we definitely need locations closer to home, right? We need something in New York City. I want a location anywhere within 100-mile radius of New York City. We need a location. So that would be, honestly, the real goal is to just keep expanding, keep growing, and keep fulfilling that void and that need that's necessary in this game.
Come uptown.
For sure.
Ha!
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, I would love for it to come back full circle. I was born in Presbyterian right there,
Oh,
so
man,
for me
come
to
uptown, baby.
68 right there.
so for it to come back full circle would be a dream, for sure.
It'll be an honor, man, because like I said, the more people they see, coming back with, more positive stuff on how to get into this industry, the better. So it's time for the $1 million question, my brother. You seem like
David still got his things.
Oh, you still got your things?
He got his question.
Oh, I thought that was it. He pushed it back to us.
We took it, but we took over. He asked about Munchies and we took over.
All right. So, New York's apparently on pace to make $700 million this year in terms of the cannabis market.
Rewind.
New York is on pace to make $700 million this year in sales.
That's a lot of money.
and a lot of it's being attributed to the stores being closed, right? And so apparently the shutting down the stores is working. And I was curious on what you guys think about New York almost cracking $1 billion in its first year, really like with its legs running.
Crazy, you know, because I thought it was like beginning of this year it was like 200 million or 300 million or some shit like that. So for it now to be moving at that pace, it's crazy. But you know, we always knew that, you know, a lot of the people that were rocking in the illegal shops, they wasn't legacy, they wasn't legal, they was just kind of like, you know, gaining this opportunity. So now, you know, you seeing both sides come up now, the legacy and the legal. For me, you want to hear what I gotta say?
I guess we knew this was coming because we talk about this again. Me and Vlad car talk, right? We knew because if you real legacy and you not that we've been in it for a long time, but if you legacy, that means you've been through it, right? And you know how these people work. You know the type of manpower they have. Now that money's being, like, they see that money's actually coming in because of this, like, it's actually affecting how much more manpower and enforcement you think is gonna come in now?
Because we always tell people, you know what I mean? It's the Empire
they don't
State.
play?
They don't play with that money.
They think what you
Yeah.
think that they don't have the manpower to close down. Like, if we watched them shut down uptown, fam. What do you mean? We saw it. It wasn't like a maybe, like, and we saw other friends and other operations go down. Like, that shit wasn't just like a maybe. So we know that when they come out, they don't come out to play, right? So, you know, money coming in, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy, David.
Yeah, whoever ain't doing it right is gonna get out the way, get pushed out the way. They're not playing for sure.
Oh man, yeah, it's a crazy subject because but that's it, man. We knew New York. New York is the capital of the world, and they seeing their numbers now, and they kind of like proving themselves right. They're like, oh, money's gonna come because of cannabis. Oh yeah, it's we go fix this.
And I was surprised at how it was even playing now at the, you know.
Yeah,
just
in
not
the
too long
beginning,
ago, like,
5,000
In the
stores?
beginning, they just
like,
opened up
yeah.
shop quick everywhere, right? Real quick. I was like, oh shit, what
bro,
the fuck just happened? It was
like,
real.
How?
It was real.
How?
It was real.
That's the
you know.
That's the quickest rapid build up any city's ever seen in the country.
That shit was crazy.
Bro.
Mass
0 to 5,000,
Everywhere you
10,000.
went too, and it didn't matter what part of the city you were in.
Don't know,
From
anywhere.
downtown,
Across the street from the precinct, no matter where it was
didn't
at,
matter what
everywhere.
part of boroughs.
That New York is no joke.
Yo.
Across the street from the precinct.
Hey, they legalized it.
You know what I knew was real? I never forget. Ask Ramon, one of our boys, he's heavy in LA. His name is Corvain Cooper. Shout out to 40 Tons.
Shout out to
He
40
came
Tons.
when it first legalized here. He's like, yo, they ain't like that in LA. This shit is wild out here. They had a table on Times Square.
Remember the tables came out, boy. As soon as they legalized it, the
On
tables
Times
came
Square.
out.
He said they're not playing like that over
Yeah, bro.
The subways too.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
Bro, when I saw it in front of the Trump building,
Oh
right in
man,
front.
Like, you don't know what our style is. New York niggas, the wildest.
wildest, man. There you go.
Like you said earlier, my brother, like that shit was crazy.
Facts, bro. Yeah, New York definitely left its mark in this industry because that's another one that's gonna go down in the books.
Another one.
That's another one that's gonna
Yo,
go
they
down in
had
the books.
flyer build outs in the legal
Yeah,
joints.
bro.
They're like in the
crazy
middle,
shit.
the craziest real estate.
Menus on the corner.
Menus. It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah.
Next,
What else you got for us, David?
Shout out to the hood.
shout out to the hood. Babe. Word up, bro. Yo, this shit.
So
This
all the
shit.
magic comes from, baby.
So, just an update, or not an update, more congratulations. Snoop Dogg is opening a dispensary in Compton.
Ooh.
And it's going to be like Tupac inspired and themed, and it's an ode to Compton and Tupac and just cannabis culture. And he's opened up his first retail store.
Shout out to Snoop, man. Shit, come
Snoop,
come
man.
on through when you come to New York. Be fucking.
Exactly. Come to the Happy Monkey podcast, baby. It's
Shout
good
out,
though,
yeah.
man.
I mean,
He always
you know.
putting on for the culture and
Yeah,
for the
he
cannabis
always does.
culture. You know what I mean?
Bro, he just been putting on for coach of like his whole career, bro. He always is like changing some shit or doing some new shit. So shit, just shout out to Snoop.
Very few people made weed cooler globally and in pop culture than him.
Word up. You see your man.
Got Martha Stewart smoking and all that. Come on, man. You gotta
Snoop
respect
is the
him.
father.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
that's a different level shit, right? Yeah, like
on,
he definitely right. Could you imagine you smoking with Martha Stewart? She make you some quick shit afterwards or something, right? Like, yo, that's lit.
Yeah.
Munchie, the crazy dope Munchie, Martha Stewart Munchies. Yo, shout out to Martha
The real
Stewart.
apple
Send us
pie.
some Munchies, something.
The
Come
real
through.
American apple pie.
Word up, man. You seen your homeboy though? Just almost got locked up or some shit like that, or got locked up. Wiz Khalifa in Romania.
Romania, yeah.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
my next one right there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
All right, so ask it. How was it going? How you gonna come on? Bring it in.
No, so Wiz Khalifa is currently facing charges in Romania for smoking on stage, right? And recently Nicki Minaj was also arrested in Amsterdam. They were catching her leaving to London with weed.
It goes down at the boulevard.
Listen, man. I was just in London with my Jordan in Spain. You know, everybody from here be like, it's whatever. You know, I carry weed everywhere. You play with the wrong country, they'll make you a believer. Don't play yourself and think because you've been, doing a little local state-to-state shit. Like, you could be caught as a political pawn, like the basketball player was in Russia. Like, you be caught in some shit.
Yeah, you know.
Do not play with,
Especially
going
when
anywhere.
you got
Unless
a
you
little
ready
bit
to
of color
sip.
on you. You know what I'm saying? Chill out, fam. You know.
To go.
You gotta know.
You gotta
know a
know,
little
brother.
bit
And
better.
then some places, like I said, don't matter. Like Asia, whatever color you are, they still jam you up. Like, you're just rolling the dice, brother. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what kind of shit you can jam yourself into.
In some countries, money doesn't matter.
Yes.
In some countries, it doesn't matter how long your money is. You're not getting out of that situation. So
We need to get out our homie that they got locked up over there. We're gonna hold you down until they let him go because we needed an excuse anyway, and we're gonna get this situated. Don't worry about it. You're gonna sit down right here. Sit down for a little while. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, that shit is no joke.
Nah, man, but I mean, to be honest, man, shout out to Wiz Khalifa though, bro, because he always putting on for the culture too, because this is his thing. Like, weed is really his thing, and what he's not gonna get on stage and smoke a joint. You know what I'm like? That's if he didn't do that, then he's not Wiz. You know what I'm saying? They arrested him. I hope they let him go with some bullshit. He smoked it. They ain't even. It's not even like you didn't even catch him with it. Like, it's over. He smoked it. You know what I mean? So it's like, what you arrested him for? You know what I mean? And it looked like they didn't take him in cuffs anyway. So they probably had to do that and all that other shit. But it's corny. But shout out to Wiz, man. Got locked up for the culture real quick, bro.
Got locked up for
Because
the
they
culture.
told
Come
him.
smoke some
They
Haze
told
in
him because
Uptown,
they
bro.
told him, bro. There's a bunch of people probably told him that he got a team of people. There's PRs. There's people in between. They tell him, yo, fam, I know you was Khalifa and all that shit. You can smoke backstage, back at your hotel, at home, whatever the fuck it is. But you can't do that shit on stage. That nigga said, I'm gonna do that shit, right?
Exactly.
He probably looked at his homie like they did on the meme. This a meme. He looked at his homie like, nigga, you got the joint, right? Like, there's no way. And he did it anyway. You know what I
Gotta
mean? And
respect it.
and fuck it, bro.
to
He putting on for the culture, like
Putting
you
on
said.
for the
LaFleur.
culture, bro. Fuck it. Shout out to Cannabis Worldwide, everybody. That was it right there, David. That was, yeah, man. That was good, man. That was, yeah. Shout out to Wiz Khalifa
come
and,
smoke some Haze, Wiz.
and Worldwide Cannabis Freedom, man, because that's basically what he just showed right there, man. Word up.
Thanks, Miguel. I'm really looking forward to see what you got to answer for the $1 million question. Because you got such a journey in life where you've been in so many places, seen so many things. If you had to describe Happy Munkey in one word, whatever you think about it, you know about it, what would it be and why?
I think I mentioned it earlier, but I'm gonna stay with definitely putting the legendary behind it, because I think that sums up my personal opinion on what I see the movement being, right? Something that's gonna be spoken about for years to come, for generations to come. Happy Munkey is definitely gonna be one of those pinnacle organizations that are always gonna have that stamp, have that flag, especially within our community and our culture. So I would definitely call it legendary for sure.
Thank you, brother. I mean,
I'll
a lot
take
coming
that.
from you, man.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So why don't you tell the people everywhere they could find you, the trim store, and everything else that you got going on, so they can stay in the loop, because you know you gave them this tease of all this game. They're gonna want more.
Yeah. My Instagram is the Trimmer Store NJ. Follow us. I have my website, thetrimmerstore.com. Reach out to me at any time, man. We're here. If you want a personal consultation, face to face, come down to the store. Family, we definitely like to keep it at a family atmosphere, so we welcome everybody to come down. We give everybody the same respect, attention, and time. So just come down, man. We welcome everybody.